Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about some guitar pedals. I have two pedals here, pretty popular pedals that have been used throughout the years, and I know definitely that I've been using them throughout the years. We have a distortion unit, an O.C.D. Fulltone, and we have a tube screamer, an Ibanez tube screamer. That tube screamer I bought probably around 1984, 85, somewhere around there. It's been on my pedal board ever since. The other O.C.D. I bought maybe about 15 years ago, maybe longer, I don't know. That's been on my pedal board ever since. And they're two different sounds. One's an overdrive pedal, one's a distortion pedal. And sometimes those terms are used interchangeably, but they're kind of two different animals. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about them. I'm going to be using this guitar. This is an LSL T-Bone. It's a Telecaster style guitar. It's got a humbucker with a split coil, so it can go single or humbucker in the bridge position. And in the neck position, it's got a P90. So it's pretty versatile. It'll definitely cover all the bases as far as different pickup configurations without me having to switch guitars. The pedals are going into a Strymon Iridium. If you're not familiar with that pedal, you probably are. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like an amp modeler. And it's something small enough that could fit on your pedal board. And that's just running through the Strymon without any of those pedals on down there. Nice sounding. Definitely gives, the impression that you're playing through an amp. Nice pedal. So that's got a pretty basic setting. It's just set with emulating an open back cabinet with a clean amp setting, kind of a Fender sound. All right, so we're going to use this to talk about the pedals. One thing I want to bring up, I just thought about it now. Whenever I watch videos of guys like demoing guitars or pedals or whatever, we constantly refer to the pickups and point out which pickup that we're using. And it's the weirdest thing. You let me know if you suffer from the same thing. We get tongue-tied talking about which pickup is which. So we'll point to the bridge pickup over here or neck pickup, and the weird thing is that you'll always hear a little pause when somebody's going to refer to one of these things, because for some reason it's like we always draw a blank whenever we're trying to point out which one of these it is, and half the time I'll be saying the wrong thing. I'll be pointing to the neck pickup saying bridge pickup. So we'll see if that happens here. Anyway, there's our clean sound. Nice sound. So the first thing we're going to do is let's take a listen to the tube screamer. And I have all the knobs in a 12 o'clock position here. So we have drive, tone, and level. Okay, so with this pickup, with this on, let's compare that to the clean sound. So you can hear it's a dirtier sound, but it's very tight. It's very tight sounding. Not a mid-range. Very controlled sound. Nice sound. That's with the single coil in the bridge position. Here's the humbucker. A little more low end. Single coil. Single coil's a little more transparent. So let's mess around with this sound a little bit. Let's tone control. There's the tone control all the way up. Pretty bright. Let's go about halfway. That's usually about where I am. And let's go all the way down. So it pretty much does what you would expect. Okay, I have the gain about halfway up. Let's turn the gain up about 3 o'clock. So we have definitely a fatter sound. We've got more sustain. Let's turn it up all the way. Definitely a heavier sound. Let's bring it down now, all the way down. Supposedly, there's clean. There it's on without any gain up. And you hear a little bit of a boost there. And supposedly that's the way Stevie Ray Vaughan used the pedal, as kind of like a clean boost. I know I usually have it up about halfway, and usually when I'm running through an amp, the tone control's backed off a little bit. Now I play this pedal through an amp all the time. In my studio here, I have a Dr. Z Maz 8 that I use for a lot of the stuff, and I have to tell you, through the Strymon Iridium, it sounds like the pedal. So I figured this would be a good neutral platform to talk about these pedals, because once you run it through the amp, you got the variable of the amp coloring the sound a little bit. So I just want you to really hear the pedal. So there's the overdrive. Let's go through a couple of different pickups. Let's go to the neck. Settings on about halfway there. Hear a darker sound. Not really good for lead, but believe it or not, it cleans up pretty nicely. So even though there's, it's a darker signal and there's not as much gain, it's still useful, the pedal. Here's the middle position with both pickups and the bridge pickup on single coil. More of an open. Interesting, because okay, there's nice, but you could even have this tube screamer on. It's a useful sound. Not total spanky clean, but still kind of funky, but with a little dirt on it. I think it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's overdrive. And to explain overdrive, think of taking a fire hose that's full capacity, water flowing through it, and try to connect that to a garden hose. It's going to be saturated. The garden hose is going to be saturated. It's going to be overflow. It's going to be a disaster. That's basically what overdrive is doing. It's a mismatched gain staging, where the first stage is the fire hose and the second stage is the garden hose. And what happens is it goes through, and because it doesn't really fit in the new lower gain stage, the tops of the waveforms get chopped off a little bit, and that's where you get this, that sound, okay? And then when you go back to your, see, there you go. Go back to your bridge pickup. There's your humbucker. There's your single coil. A little less gain, a little cleaner, a little more transparent. The humbucker, a little more girth, a fatter signal. All right, let's talk a little bit about the distortion. So the Fulltone O.C.D is a distortion pedal, and here's the difference. That's pretty much everything at 12 o'clock. Definitely more dynamic range, especially in the low end. So I use this pedal when I want to sound like I'm running through a Marshall 4x12. You know, even though I'm running through a Dr. Z Jetta or a Maz 8 or even a Fender amp, it gives me that bigger sound like you've mic'd up a 4x12 cabinet. So that's the kind of middle setting. I'm going to turn the drive control up to about 3 o'clock with the humbucker. Definitely that Marshall sound. So when I need to sound like, you know, doing some Jimmy Page-ish thing or some Santana thing, you know, I got tons of sustain. And then if you're running it through an amplifier, obviously, you've got the dynamic of having that sound come out and having a little feedback tail on something that you do like this. I'm going to turn the gain up all the way now with the humbucker pickup. Great for power chords. That sound. You can turn the tone knob up about 3 o'clock. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So let's go back about halfway, bring the drive down about halfway, and let's go to the neck pickup. Clean up a little bit. It's a nice, darker, expressive sound. Definitely a thicker sound than you would get with the Overdrive. Let's go to the middle position with the neck P90 and its single coil in the bridge. Nice kind of a crunchy rhythm sound. Interesting sound. Nice sound, definitely usable. And let's go to single coil in the bridge. Something from one of my songs. So the distortion definitely has a different flavor. Let's turn the tone all the way down. And let's go humbucker in the bridge position. I don't know what you'd use that for. You know, I don't think it's very useful having the tone all the way down, but it might be something interesting if you're going after like that woman tone or something like that. Could be useful. So let's kind of A-B them. Here's the Overdrive, everything up about halfway. Very narrow bandwidth, very mid-rangey, but tight, really tight. Okay, here's the Overdrive. More compression. And with the Overdrive, not the Overdrive, with the distortion, I mean, it's not like a gain staging thing. It's more like a clipping thing where you take the audio signal and you just chop off, at least that's how I understand it, chop off the tops and bottoms of the waveform. Whereas the Overdrive has more of... That sounds a little hotter, that pedal, so let me bring this one up a little bit. There's also a switch here. I have it on low pass because it's kind of a bright pedal. I usually play with Strats. So now I just switched it. There should be a lot more high end. Actually sounds pretty good. So when I have it on an amp, I'm so used to having it in low pass mode. But I think in this situation, I kind of prefer that. So let's go through the sounds. We got humbucker. We've got single coil bridge, a little bit thinner. We have the combination of the two with the humbucker over in the bridge. Now single coil in the bridge, two together. And now neck P90. Not as tight, but that's typical for a Tele or for a Strat, for the neck pickup to not be as good with distortion as the bridge pickup, or in the case of a Tele, the case of a Stratocaster, the middle pickup. So that's pretty much what we've got here. The only other thing I have on the pedal board right here is a gate. I have an MXR Smart Gate. I don't know if you can hear it, but when it's in single coil, definitely prone to a little buzzing. It's not too bad right here, right now. And on this pedal board, I have a volume control. I have a mini wah-wah, and it's just stupid. The wah-wah I use for like one song. You know, the volume pedal I use like for one song. I have this flashback delay on here. I normally wouldn't have that much feedback on it. That's just the way the knobs ended up when I put it up here. Not crazy about that pedal. There are 3 slots in there where you can put your own user algorithm in there. It could be a vibrato, a phaser, tremolo, you name it, echo. There's all sorts of presets you can download. But the problem is you put them in there, you still got to go down and tweak the knobs, because all it does is it changes the machinery underneath to tell you what kind of effect it's going to be, but the knobs are still there. So it's not like they're presets where you can go from one to the other. If the knobs are not right, you're not going to get the sound you want. So I kind of wish they said that when I first looked at the manual. Maybe they did and I missed it. And then I have a JHS harmonic trem over here, because sometimes you just got to have tremolo. Really, really, really nice. Sometimes that's just what the doctor ordered. Anyway, that's what's on this pedal board. I have another pedal board that I use, which has, by the way, the other pedal board I've got, can you see this bad boy here? This Warm Audio Centavo pedal. And this is kind of like a clone. And if you go in some of my past videos, you'll see that I did a really quick run through of this pedal. I wanted to do a more in-depth look at this pedal, but it was so great that, man, I got through it and I was like, yeah, I'm done. This thing sounds great. So I will get back and do a more in-depth look at this pedal. I really like it a lot. I have another one of these on my other pedal board. This is the one I keep in the studio. And for a while, I was checking out this. Can you guys see that? Yeah. This Wampler Euphoria pedal. This is kind of a similar thing. It's more like a clean, a distortion with kind of clean sound mixed in it. So I got to mess with this one a little bit more and check it out. We'll take a more in-depth look at that. While I'm here, I have one of the mini tube screamers. I bought this as a spare. Truthfully, I don't think it sounds as good as the one I have on this pedal board here. I don't know, maybe because this one is the one that I have there is older. It's got a warmer sound. This one sounds a little thin, a little brittle to my ears. I mean, it'll work in a pinch, but to my ears, it's not the same. And I don't know if I got anything else laying around that I feel like talking about. Ooh, I got an EP booster. You ever mess with one of these? Let me get it. This is pretty cool for a clean boost. Just plug a telly into this, into your amp, and just get a little dirt on your amp and you're done. That's all you need. It's a great sounding pedal. Anyway, that's it for today. Anyway, see you later.